guys, welcome to episode 7 of Toolkit that is brought to you by SKN Unchained and Caribbean Marketing Solutions. I am one of your lovely hostesses, Janika Francis.
And I'm your second host, Miss Charity Maddenborough.
Recently, Anguilla had their elections, and so we'll be interviewing two individuals from Anguilla. One, the supervisor of elections,
Who is Rodney Way, and the analytical programmer, who is Dylan Siliki.
So Anguilla recently held their elections and they did not use the manual way of counting ballots. They introduced the electronic tabulator. And so today we'll be discussing more in depth about how the elections went, how was preparations, the training sessions, and so on. So stay tuned. Welcome, Mr. Rodney Way and Dylan Skillicky.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having us on your program.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what are your roles in the whole election process in Angola.
I am the supervisor of elections, very new in the job, appointed in February of 2020. So I just had about 4 months to finalize the preparation for the election. So I give credit to my predecessor, Miss Arjun Wilson, who did a lot of the groundwork that I built on for the successful conclusion of the 2020 general elections in Anguilla.
And I am Delon Skillicky, and I'm an analyst programmer that works for the government of Anguilla. My department is called the Department of Information Technology and E-Government Services. And I joined the electoral office working along with them as technical support for the just recently concluded elections as technical support. And I joined them in October last year, but preparations for elections began, I think sometime in May of last year. And so it was a new thing for all of us to be using the electronic tabulation machines for the first time. So it was quite an experience, and I was glad to be part of the process.
Okay, thank you. So we know traditionally we would use manual counting. What initiated the idea of using a tabulator?
The decision to purchase the DS200 electronic tabulating machines preceded my arrival or my appointment in the office, but I believe it has to do with efficiency. Traditionally, in a small territory like Anguilla with less than 10,000 voters, we would be at the courthouses and the House of Assembly until 5 o'clock in the morning counting ballots manually. I think the decision was made to invest in the DS200 tabulating machines to shorten the time for the announcements of results after general election. I think that essentially would be the main reason. And the process proved very useful. We finished tabulating the results in 2 hours, basically, on that evening. And traditionally, as I said, we would have been there counting manually until about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so even though we had, even though we would normally have manual counting, I think one of the other benefits to having the machines is the less of a chance for human error. It reduced that significantly. As you would know, it would be a lot easier for humans to make errors when counting ballots, or even when it comes to things like spoiled ballots, because the machines were configured in such a way that allowed voters the option of fixing particular mistakes that they may have made at the polls before submitting the ballot. It allowed us to reduce significantly the amount of spoiled ballots that we had as compared to when we had manual voting. So the machine helped us in a lot of ways.
But were there any like mishaps or any trouble with the machines on election day?
Well, with the machines, with any machine or any piece of technology, you're always going to have some trouble. Initially, this would come down to basically power issues, or it would come down to just getting them up and running on the day. And a lot of that had to do with just the pressure that was involved from the from the voter side. Everyone was raring to go. They were ready to start voting right away, and that was the only thing that we had to really deal with. The machines themselves were very robust, and we didn't really have much of an issue getting them up and running. So, from that standpoint, I think the machines held their own, and it helped us out a great deal.
In addition, our Elections Act 2019, as amended, mandated that the electoral office had to do what is called a public testing of the machines. And about 10 days before the election day, we had to assemble all 21 machines in a large room, and we had to test them individually using specimen ballots, using the um, electrical supply, as well as using their backup power supply. And that proved very successful. So we had little or no problem on election day because we had done all the basic homework and the training of officers. As Mr. Skelly said, election officials were in training since May of 2019. An election was held in on 29 June 2020. So there was a lot of training that went into the use of the electronic machine. Plus, we did extensive public education sessions in all the constituencies with the machines. Workers had a chance to interact with the machines before election day, so they knew exactly what they needed to do in terms of shading the ovals on the ballot paper and inserting them in the scanner. So, as Mrs. Skelly said, I think we experienced little or no problem with the machines on election day.
And also, just to add before we move on, I think this was the first time in Anguilla's history that we were able to provide a segment of the election process, which was called advanced polls. So we were able to provide the opportunity for persons who would have been elderly or disabled or incapacitated to come out before regular elections on Monday, June 29th, to cast their votes. And it was quite efficient. We started, I think, at 9 on the Friday before elections, and we finished at 5 o'clock. And that afforded the opportunity for most people to bring, their grandmothers or older aunts and uncles, people who had issues with their health and may not have been able to make it to regular election day with the hustle and bustle of everything that was going on. That provided them the opportunity to get a chance to cast their votes, and the machine helped to make this process more efficient.
And that provided the opportunity for us to forecast any difficulties that may have occurred. So that was like a dress rehearsal, really. And that advanced poll went well as the voting on election day.
Awesome. Could you tell us a little bit more about the machine? Like, how does it work?
The machine is you can think of the machine as a normal computer. It has a screen that is touch enabled, and it sits on top of a bin, ballot bin box that would receive the ballot. So it's connected to the ballot bin using a case that the machine sits in. And that case has a slot that allows the ballot to be fed through the machine, and then it falls through that slot into the ballot bin that is below it. So it all comes assembled in this one tight unit, I don't know if you guys would have had the opportunity to look at the Facebook feed of the counting of the election results. You would have seen the machines standing next to each other in the room when we had the results displayed live for the first time as well. So the machine accepts the ballots, it scans it, it reads what you would have shaded as a voter into the different circles for each of the candidates that you chose, and then that scanned ballot falls into the ballot bin, and that would be your vote counted.
Perhaps you could talk about the special media stick
Yes.
that had to be configured for the Anguilla general election. That's the media stick that saves all information as
Correct.
people voted
Yes.
on election day.
Yes. So as Mr. Ray said, in addition to just the operational function of the machine, there was a media stick that was used to actually collect the votes based on the ballots cast into the machine. So as a voter would cast the ballot, the machine would count that vote, and it would store the information on a media stick, which would be later used to tabulate the results at the end of election day.
Machine gives what we call a public count. So at the start of polling day, the presiding officer would um, set up the machine, um, place it on poll, opening polls, and a report is printed that shows that there is no ballot in the bin or no one has yet voted. So that's called a zero count vote. At the beginning of polls, and all the agents and candidates can see that the report at the opening of polls says public count zero. At the end of the voting, and the presiding officer presses close poll, it automatically prints the report, which is um,
As a result.
the results of the voting on that day. And you could read off from that report the number of votes each candidate got in the election, as well as those. In the case of this machine, it provides some feedback if a voter, like in your case in St. Kitts, where you have um, single constituencies and you vote for one person, if perchance a voter votes for two candidates in a constituency, the machine gives a prompt. It will tell you you have overvoted. You were allowed one candidate in the district, you voted for two. What do you want to do? Do you want your ballot back and get a new ballot, or you want to send it or cast it? The choice is yours. You could press cast, it goes in the bin. But on the tabulation, no candidate gets that vote if you had voted for more than one candidate, as in your case. So it has what we call undervoting or overvoting. Overvoting would be if you vote for more than the required number of candidates for the constituency. So in case of St. Kitts, if you put through a blank ballot, it will tell you that you have not voted for any candidates. What do you want to do? And it gives that kind of feedback to the voters. In our case, since many people may not have interacted with a computer, we had on standby an extra poll clerk who would have given any assistance to anybody requiring assistance with the feedback from the machine. But generally speaking, once you voted well, in Angola's case, you voted for the one candidate in your district and all four in the island-wide section. It takes only a couple seconds for the ballot to be scanned and dropped in the box.
So, for large countries who are still counting manually, what would your advice be to them on using the.
Use the machines. By and large, I think we can reference one such scenario right now, which is Guyana's case. St. Kitts has recently had elections. The new government has been sworn in, and they've gone back to work. Anguilla has had elections. The new government has been sworn in, and they've headed out to work. But unfortunately, Guyana, as you may be aware, is still struggling to conclude their elections peacefully and properly. And as that comes as a result of using the old manual system, where, as you can see, there's a lot of evidence to show that that introduces the potential for fraud, electoral fraud. And one of the things that the machine can help with, especially in large countries like that, is that it takes that element away. I mean, people can still try to defraud the system, but the machines make it much, much more difficult to do that. So, as you asked, I think that the answer to the question would be the machines are a great way to, one, make the process more efficient, and to sort of help to get rid of issues like fraud and electoral tampering and so on.
Anguilla is among two other English-speaking territories that have purchased these DS200 tabulating machines. The US Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands, BVI used them in their 2019 election. So we are in a little league by ourselves. And the machines proved very, very, very useful. I'll give a scenario. In one of our districts, there was a demand for a recount. In yes, but there were three recounts. Yes, three districts asked for a recount, and to show how the machines work, the recount involved what we call a electronic recount, where you take each ballot and you push it through the scanner again. And that result from the electronic recount was the same result as the result produced at the close of polls, equal in all respects. In one constituency, a candidate asked for a manual recount. So we had to take the ballots and one by one of the whole day go through the recount. And at the end of that manual recount, the results were exactly the same as the electronic recount and the electronic tabulation at the end of polls. So the machine proved it was in that respect correct.
It does also show that, I guess maybe due to lack of knowledge or maybe lack of understanding, and as Mr. Ray said earlier, we held several educational sessions with the public as well as with the candidates that were vying for political office. So they had the chance to actually see how the machine was going to work before we actually used them on election day. But even after that, because the results of the elections were so close in some of the districts, members of certain political parties felt that it might be just for them to ask for a recount, and they were within their right to do so. But I was happy to see that the machines, it proved the integrity of the machines, and it showed that there was no foul play and there was no tampering involved.
Machines come with features that allow them to be locked and sealed. The computer part of the machine can be locked and sealed, and that will be required for security reasons. The ballot box section, which are attached to the machine, that can be locked and sealed. And we did all of that to ensure that the election was free and fair, and there was no tampering at all with the ballots that were collected in the bin. So in terms of security, it makes provision for that kind of, the construction allows for that as well. And I think time is money. And rather than spending a whole night counting results, counting ballots, and waiting on results, it can be done using technology available, and we recommend it highly.
How did the communities, the people in the society, how did they respond to the change?
Oh, it was very positive. I'll give you a quick example. I think I was stationed at District 4, and that District 4 is one of the largest, I think, the largest district in Anguilla. And that district, I think by, what was it, 2 p.m., the lines were empty. there were stragglers coming in here and there, I guess from work, or people who could get time off to come and vote. You would see them come in one by one. But by and large, the majority of people that stood in line early on June 29th, by 2 p.m. it was the lines were empty, and that just goes to show the efficiency of the process, due to the practice that went into preparing for election day and the machines themselves. It only took, depending on if you voted properly, you shaded properly, and there was no errors on the ballot. It only took like about a few seconds to vote, and that was it. So I think the response to using the machines was a very positive one from the public.
I endorse that comment from Mr. Skellerkey. I think the feedback we have been getting is that the system proved very effective, and there were little problems in casting your vote on election day. We should point out, though, that marking the ballot is still manual. You still have to shade in or put your X in the oval beside the candidate's name and symbol. That part is still manual. Hopefully, one day we'll move to electronic in that respect. But what is electronic is the actual tabulation. As you vote, your vote is tabulated for the candidate that you voted for. So at 7 o'clock, when the polls are closed, you could announce your results immediately at the polling station and get on with the business of the country.
Is there anything that we don't know about the electronic tabulation that you guys would like to share?
We can give you the cost price per unit. They are not very expensive. Each unit costs just under 6,000 US dollars. And we'll have purchased 21, one per polling station. We divided our districts into 20 polling stations, and we had one as a backup just in case something went wrong. It costs just under $6,000, but the company provides, you have to purchase the ballot papers from the company. The name of the company is Election System and Software. Election System and Software out of Chicago, Illinois. They are the manufacturers of the electronic tabulating machines, and they provide the ballot papers and the media sticks, and they provide a lot of on-site and online support during the training process.
So if other countries would like to, develop this tabulating method, but they don't want to invest, in the machines, would Anguilla decide to rent other countries?
That's a very good question. I think it's something that is quite possible, but we would have to get approval and see how that will play into our link with election systems and software. But it's definitely a possibility. I wouldn't say it should be ruled out completely. But yeah, that's something that can be discussed.
What I can add, though, is that our very capable and technically proficient staff from our IT department, I'm sure they'll be available to move around the region and offer their expertise when you do decide to invest or to rent any of those DS200 electronic tabulating machines.
Were there any objections from the opposition as it relates to the machines and using the machines for election?
No, as I said before, the electoral office was very instrumental in making sure that there were several educational sessions held before for our politicians, for the voting public. So people had the chance to actually come out and interface with machines. They had the ability to actually cast dummy ballots to see how it would feel to actually vote on election day. This was held for, like I said, the public and for the candidates. So when it came to election day, they already had quite some experience with the machines. So there was no objection really to using the machines or how the machines would be used on election day.
Okay. So, how was the youth turnout for election day?
I think that was the youth turnout was considerable, especially this election. I think it it
Four, at least four of the candidates you can consider
as
four
youth.
of the elected candidates
Yeah.
can be considered youthful.
Mm.
So that would give an indication of the turnout by young people. We have not disaggregated the um, voter turnout according to age group, but in my visits around the island on that day, there was quite a large number of young people um, waiting to cast the vote. So, generally speaking, this election was determined in large measure by the youthful sector of the population.
Yes, unofficially, as
Yes.
Mr. Ray said, there wasn't any accurate statistical analysis done to definitively say how many young people would have voted. But just from the naked eye and from observation, you would have noticed a lot of young people standing in line to vote. So I would say that the youthful participation for this election cycle, especially, was very high.
That's great, and this was evident by seeing a young person who beat a veteran for the very first time.
That's correct. That's correct. It's a historical moment, I think, for not just for Miss Deanne Kentish Rogers, but for a number of the other candidates. I think the oldest of the young candidates who won this seat would have been Mr. Kyle Hodge, I think. Yeah, he would have been the oldest of the batch. I think Deanne Kentish Rogers is 26 or 27, and he's mid 30s, I think. So yeah, it's definitely an unprecedented time for us here in Angola in terms of youthful leadership.
How old are you allowed to be in parliament?
Mr. Ray would
Yeah,
have
I
to.
think it's you can vote at age 18, so I guess that would be the um, lower limit for entry into parliament. But I would have to check the I'm not and the legal age to vote is 18.
Correct.
Some legislation may have 21 to be a candidate. I can't remember offhand what is it for Angola, but I would imagine it would have to be 18 as well. If you can vote at 18, you should be able to be a candidate at 18.
And just to add, since we're on the youth in this election, it's also worthy noting that the on the opposition side, the youngest candidate that won their seat in the most recent elections was Mr. Jose Van der Poel, and he's just 25 years old. So he's even younger than Ms. Diane Kentish Rogers, and he was previously the first nominated member of the House of Assembly before the elections was concluded, and he won his seat and is now a member of the opposition team in Parliament. So it's you have youthful leadership all around.
Okay, would you guys like to share any final words?
It was nice having us on your program, and we hope that when you do decide in St. Kitts to follow our example, we can share more fully with you in person. So we look forward to that day and certainly enjoyed sharing with you on this program.
Yes, I'd like to echo the same sentiments. Thank you for having us on your program today. And I think the machines have, as mentioned before, shown their worth. And if Stinkits in future would like to go this path, Anguilla stands ready to assist in any way possible.
Thank you. And we from Toolkit, on behalf of Toolkit, we would like to say thank you very much for giving us your time and sharing all this information as it relates to electronic tabulation. And we would definitely consider and give the officials this information for them to consider, you know, reformation in the whole electoral process. So thank you very much.
And we will
Thank
Thank you
also
as well.
thank
and
you.
we would also like to congratulate Anguilla and their newly appointed government and a great job on the new method of counting the votes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
We've come to the end of our first segment. Stay tuned, we'll be right back with our next segment.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our NOSI program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Welcome back. This is our second segment, and we will be interviewing Daddy One of the Six out of Jamaica, and we are going to hear about his story, his progress, his musical career, his advancement, all of that good stuff. So stay tuned.
So, Daddy One, we all know you as Daddy One from the Six. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally, your name, your age, and how your musical career began.
Okay, well, my name is Adrian Daly, otherwise known as Daddy One. Well, I'm a humble soul. Well, people, everybody know me already. Everybody know me just calm and easy, so people don't really have nothing against me, you know. Always a youth we have preach peace, you know, so they don't have nothing against me.
So, we all know you as Daddy One from the Six. Is it difficult for you to differentiate yourself, or you go as this Daddy One from the Six still?
Yeah, I'm on Daddy One, Six. Yeah, I'm a part of the Six and I always will be a part of the Six. So it will always be Daddy One, Six.
Would you say your career, like musically, was difficult from the start?
No, it wasn't difficult because I do music from a tender age, like fourth grade. So it never hard for me. But I always know what I want to do already. But I always know more become an artist. Always. It was always music. Yeah, my family them support me right through. Because me and them road right through. And support me fully, 100%.
Would you say it was difficult, like seeing like your friends or maybe like family members go off to college and university, whereas you stayed and focused on your music because that is what you really want for yourself?
No, because I'm always a free music. I'm always a free to become an artist. So after high school, I just music.
Who would you say is your biggest influence in music?
My biggest influence in music, Vibes Cartel.
Yes, and you being a part of the Six, was it difficult for you to cope with you not getting the bus as quick as your components?
I really because when I start get the bus really squashed, the day of jail and I start get the bus squashed with did under state of emergency lockdown. So I would say it did hard because when you come on road, chronic law, that the one all of we already they push the movement. So when you come we just come together, we just push it as one.
Who would you say encouraged you the most musically? Like helped you in the studio always, showed up for you, like push you till you keep going, help you with like creating lyrically, like to get better? Who were the one that helped you the most?
Really and truly, tell her the truth, build with like help make other artists help me build something when I do that, me be creative and think to myself. So really and truly, I just me and my friends and really go studio and I just vibe and just vibes. Yeah. But musically like an artist who influenced me to do good in music, but I say squash because always a motivate me and I tell me that I want to do the right.
What would you say to any youngster in like high school who want to pursue music as a career?
Tell them to believe in themselves and don't make people doubt you. You have to believe in yourself. So that's the key for me. Believe in yourself, you can achieve anything.
What are some of the challenges you face growing up in the musical industry?
Basically, when I really face no challenge, as I tell you, use a youth like this, I just keep myself to myself. So I won't get in problem with no one else. So no, when I see no problem in the music with me.
But you trying to, come up and be the best, you know, take charge of your music. Was there any fight down? Like any at all? From any other artist or maybe a producer?
Everything you do, you get fight. Everything you do, you get fight. But we're going to use the good to cover the bad. Yes, so I always use good cover bad stuff.
Have you ever traveled like to any islands to perform? And if so, like what were your favorite islands? Where did you feel the support the most from?
Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, I heard Bahamas, some small island. But Trinidad, the energy. Trinidad, like warm town and give the support fully.
Would you ever like to travel to St. Kitts?
Yeah, I did have a show and I sent kids to come up soon, but due to the corona, everything get canceled.
So as it relates to the whole corona situation, how are you coping with not being able to travel or perform?
As you see, corona take over and I deal with the world away. So all we have to do, we have to just protect ourselves and wash our hands and keep the surrounding them clean and take our vitamins there. But when I have a problem, with them closing down and doing what supposed to be because really and truly we need the world to clear up. But so at the right energy them I do, I don't have a problem with it. Just they are one real one, I wait for them to open up to do the right thing.
Do you have any personal kids that look up to you, or if not personal kids, kids in the neighborhood, the community is looking up to you?
Yeah, every community I go always like the youngster them, the young juvenile them always have a love for them. I don't know why. The young youth them always have a love for them. So every community when I go in, them always show me a love. Some always show them back love. So I get to realize say, I want idol for them and I want to look who yes. So I just have to guide them in the right.
So we know that you have more than one songs. What song was the song that give you the push in the industry?
Really, anthem. The people them love anthem. And the people them see me, they find them see me daddy one. Then I say six, no girl don't want you. So get a positive feedback from anthem.
So has corona affected you both negatively and positively?
Corona only make see things, make more like smarter, me do more investments. So, would I say Corona would I be one positive thing for me then? Like make more smarter and make me do more investment.
Have you done any collaborations outside of the six?
I have a couple collaboration forward various artists.
So, if we have an artist here that would like to collaborate with you, how do they get in contact with you?
Then management, everyday management, management info, my bio and IG at real_daddy1.
Okay. Since you said that you have been focusing on music, like basically for your entire life, half of your life. Did you have to like change management or who you previously used to record with? Were there any major changes?
No, never. Yeah, from start the music, same management came right through.
Okay.
From start the music, same management came right through.
Well, from the news, I saw that there has been violence against artists. How do you feel about that? Like how would you feel if you have to be violated via gunshots or like any form of violence?
The violence needs to stop, Time to come together as one. Stop the violence. Time to come together as one and preach peace, less violence. So that I really just we need to come together, stop the violence.
You spoke about coming together. How do you feel about artists not liking artists or having bash? How do you feel about that?
Well, really and truly, me, I'm a neutral person still. Don't really like the vibe still. Yeah, that's just me. What I don't like the vibe. I just always good things, always peace. So if on a negative vibe, I'm not go with it.
Tell us a little bit more about like any materials that you plan to push out or you plan to push forward that you can speak about new music, new videos, maybe an album.
Yeah, I have an EP coming soon. One bro God.
You mentioned that you'll be dropping an EP soon. What kind of music do we expect on that EP and any collabs?
No collabs on the EP, but I can expect everything. I can expect something for the girls, them something for money. Because I released a song already off the EP, man. Release Rich off the EP already. So you have something for the girl, them something for like the youths, them in the street, or juggle like or hustle. The youth them or white car glass, the vendor them have songs for them. A whole heap of things, man, from the EP. Whole heap of things, right? Just the
Nice.
youth to stay tuned because it will drop the like 10 this month, like next like Friday will release 10 July.
On behalf of all of us here at Toolkit, we would like to thank Daddy One for giving us his input on the musical industry and his career.
This is the end of segment 2 and we are going to be right back with segment 3.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our Nosy program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.
Welcome back, and we are flowing smoothly into our third segment for this episode of Toolkit. And we're here with Tamicia Jeffords, and today we'll be discussing a very interesting topic that is known in our own culture as tomboy. And she's gonna tell us a little bit more and give us some insight as to what it really is, and how is the life of a tomboy. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to be here. For me, I would say a tomboy is a girl who, enjoys noisy activities traditionally associated with boys.
And would you say that a tomboy is accepted throughout our community, throughout our societies?
Well, for me, I would say it is more receptive now than back then when I first started out. So let me go from the beginning and tell you about the transition. So I grew up with my younger sister and 3 boy cousins. And, we started out playing with dolls. And so, but I find I would get easily bored. After 5 minutes, I don't want to play with the dolls anymore. But then when I started playing with my cousins, I realized I enjoyed the pitching and the climbing trees and the shooting the doves, and that I could do all day. And I realized I was very comfortable doing those, boy stuff. So I had a passion for that very early on. And then what would happen is that when my cousins' clothes got too small, then they would give me their clothes, which is pants. So I started wearing a lot of pants, and I was very comfortable with that still today. I love wearing pants. So that is how things kind of started out for me.
Okay, do you mind telling us, are you like attracted to girls or are you attracted to guys?
I'm attracted to both sexes, actually.
What is a common stereotype that you hear about tomboys that you could rectify or correct for us?
They love to say tomboys like to bang the, the woman, right? Listen, I think most people would say that because they tend to be jealous of both sexes, because if you have a woman as a female, she talk to a guy or she talk to guys, you feel a type of way. She talk to other tomboys, you feel a type of way. So there's always a tendency to be extra jealous. But the banging part, I can't. I don't know.
I usually think that, girls tend to be a bit more not easy in terms of like get jealous a lot and stuff like that compared to boys. So you are agreeing to what I believe, that girls are like, more jealous than guys are.
Super jealous. Yeah. I've had my share of that, trust me. As you can see, I'm a very friendly person, and I find to me a lot of people misunderstand my my pleasant approach. Like I would talk to somebody I just met the same way I talk to somebody I've known for years. You would swear like we knew each other a long time. I guess it's my approach. So it's kind of misleading sometimes, and maybe sometimes I feel like people think that I like them in that way because maybe I'm a tomboy and I probably give a straight woman a compliment or she thinks I want her, that kind of. Yeah.
So would you say you're a natural flirt?
Yes, that's my sign. Pisces, we are. Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. Trust me.
So would you say that tomboys are more accepted in our societies now, rather than back then?
Definitely. I find people more accepting now because when I grew up, you could say like late 90s to early 2000s, I don't think people wanted that kind of lifestyle. Well, for me, I had a lot of bad experiences where I would walk down the road, like I said, I always enjoyed dressing like a boy. I guess, on my peaceful way, and then I tired here, roast out, burn out, and by now I should be a barbecue chicken or because the amount of roast out I get, right? But yeah, I find people more accepting now, the more receptive now. So I guess over time people have changed the attitude towards this type of lifestyle.
Would you say was anything specific to cause that change?
As you know, gay people have a lot of rights now, which there was no law put in place back then to me. As you know, too, a lot of violence have been inflicted on such people. So luckily, not me, but words do hurt. And there were many nights that I cried because of the harsh things people would say to me. You know, I got over it.
So, have you ever changed up your look or considered changing it up sometimes, like being a girl sometimes? Not being a girl, let me change that. Have you ever considered like changing your appearance sometimes, like wearing girlier clothes sometimes and wearing boyish clothes on other days?
Well, of course, I do have a daughter now, and I take a lot of her feelings into consideration. Like for her prom also, I wouldn't go in a tuxedo. So sometimes you do have to switch it up a bit and dress the part. Not so much for you, but to make others comfortable.
So, how old is your daughter?
Well, she's gonna be 14 next week, so you
So,
have a teenager.
so does she understand what a tomboy is and that you are a tomboy?
Well, at first, when she was younger, she would ask, "Mommy, like, why you dressed like a boy?" Or she had a lot of questions, and I would tell her, "Well, it's how mommy is comfortable, and whatever." At first, I could tell she was a bit confused, but over time, she understood. And sometimes she even tells me she wants to be a tomboy, but like I tell her, don't just say you want to be there because you're following me. I want to make sure that is what you want. So just take your time and see what you're comfortable with. So,
So I know, like in society, when people see tomboys get pregnant, it's kind of like a look down on. Did you have any of these difficulties while you were pregnant?
well, to be quite honest, because of the way I always dressed, a lot of people did not know I was even pregnant, right? And there were some who, after they found out, was shocked. But like I said, I am attracted to both sexes. I never pretend to like, or I don't deal with guys or whatever. So when people saw I was pregnant, oh yeah, still she don't. So it wasn't really a total shock, but still it was a shock that, wow, I can't believe she wanted, a child and whatever. So,
So would you consider your outside appearance to be a tomboy, but your sexuality to be pansexual?
let me put it this way, right? When I'm with you, I'm with you. If I'm with a guy, I dress like a woman. If I'm with a woman, I dress like a man. I don't cross. So even though I am attracted to both sex, I have a girlfriend, so I'm not going to disrespect her like that. I'm not going to disrespect the relationship. Yes, there have been other women that I've cheated on, sadly. But, that is, but to me, to go to a guy would be a total disrespect. So when I'm with a woman, I'm with a woman.
Would you ever consider to be in a poly relationship?
Like a polymango with me. Just kidding.
Poly meaning like three.
No, no. And especially with so much diseases out and so, no, not for me.
One of the misconceptions is that tomboys, must be attracted to girls. Do you feel as though the influence from the society is why tomboys feel like they must be attracted to women or girls?
Well, for me, I would definitely say yes, and I'm going to explain to you why. Like I said, I grew up with three of my male cousins, so I enjoy doing boy stuff. I went to girls' school as well, and even my peers realize I'm different. And so they playing Mississippi and all those things didn't interest me. And they would be like, you're always acting, like a boy or whatever, because I enjoyed boy stuff. There was never an attraction to any females growing up. And as I got older, women, older girls started to hit on me, which was very confusing to me because, like I said, that wasn't part of my deal. I just enjoyed playing the boy stuff, doing boy sports and fun activities. There was never in my thoughts that I would like girls. So that was a confusing time for me. And as I got older now, people now started changing from, oh, you're a tomboy to you're a lesbian, which I had no clue what a lesbian was. Just to say, I was so, oblivious to all these things. So then as I got older and girls started liking me, I was confused. And one of my older cousins explained to me, well, because you project yourself, that image of a boy, girls going to attract to you. And then, I started getting love letters and I would let her read them and try to break it down. Because like I tell you, a girl liking me was very confusing. Because nobody ever explained that you could be attracted to the same sex. So this was new to me. But it's only when I got older now, like I said, people started associating me to the term lesbian. And I'm like, I'm not. So you mean you ain't not, and you just, so I'm, okay, this is how I'm comfortable. I only dress the part, but I'm not into the other stuff. And then there would be like different, numerous people coming to me with the same talk. And there were so many times I cried, like trying to convince people I am not this way, you know? But to me, in society, once they make up their mind about certain things, it's like you're kind of literally doomed. So it's like after years, people convicting me of a crime that I never did. And this is the only regret I have. You never let society change you from being your true self. I was a woman who enjoyed dressing like a man, and that was it for me. So now, as I got older and people started saying, oh, they done brand me actually, they had me labeled already. So it's like, okay, well, since they done convict me of the crime, I might as well commit it. So that is the only regret I honestly have throughout the whole transition. Never let people, like I tell you, change you from being your true self. So the pressures and everything, I mean, people don't believe in you something that you're not, you might as well do it. And I kind of gave into it like in my later teenagers years. So yeah, society played a lot in that.
Would you say your outward appearance, where you dress like a boy, prevented you from getting a boy that you wanted?
Well, to be quite honest, a lot of guys are intimidated by women who dress like a man. Some of them, as they say, you're more mannish than me anyway. But I wouldn't say that it has ever deterred any guy who was serious about me, because if you're serious enough about a woman, nothing should stop you. And my child father was very persistent. He didn't care. Up to now, he don't care if I dress like a man or what, or not. He kind of glad, actually, because he don't want other guys.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, once somebody really serious about you, I don't think you... Well, for some guys, it would change their mind. Some guys actually say, I wouldn't even waste my time because I could see like you into girls or whatever. But like I say, if somebody really into you, I think they would still make a play for you and see how things goes.
So if you had to consider getting married, who would you prefer to be married to, a guy or a female?
Honestly, I might sound like a hypocrite, but I just believe marriages are really just for male and female, so I would never marry a female.
Have you ever came across any situation where you wanted to dress as a guy, but you were forced to dress your part as like you had to dress like a female?
Wow. Yes, in 2008, my boss took a few of his employees to Las Vegas. And for me, that was like a dream come true, going to Las Vegas. And, I was so excited about it. And then my boss actually sat me down and he said, listen, when we go up there, I don't expect you to be dressing like a man. And that kind of like killed me dream. So, I mean, the trip kind of, because I wasn't my true self. So we went on the trip. And, he took us to a few places, which was, we really appreciated it. We had never seen anything like that. And after he would retire and go back to his hotel, then the rest of us would, go out. We went to the strip club. So see me in the strip club looking like old Mother Hubbard in a dress, which I just wasn't feeling it because I wasn't, my true self. So, yeah, that's the one time that I really wanted to, really be myself, my free self, and I couldn't.
Do you have any regrets not being playing the role of a female back then, opposed to playing the role of a male?
I don't.
If you had to consider doing something that was outside of the box that you're not used to, something girly, what would it be?
Something girly. I would like to have a sleepover, like literally in pajamas and girls just pillow fighting, and yeah, I would love to do that.
So at work, is there any discrimination against, the way you dress or you in general?
Well, the way I'm a security officer, so the uniform is a pant, which is perfect for me. And I should, and there's no discrimination. My bosses them can clearly see what my lifestyle is, and they are very welcoming. So no, I've never had anyone scorn me for the way I live.
But would you say, like, is there anybody you encounter, like you were on the job and they discriminated you, probably said something, that was disrespectful or...
Actually, no. People tease me about it. I don't even know if I could say it. Like some of the guys would say, "I hope you think in big mines are. Let me see one big." We actually have fun with it. So there's no uncomfortable feeling or no, nothing like that. I've never encountered that.
Okay, so in my experience in being in Canada, I know they're more open to situations like this, and they have on like application forms and stuff like that, like your preferred name and would you rather be called he, she, it. On an application form, would you put a male or a female? And if you were asked, what would you prefer to be called? What would you say?
Well, I know I'm a female, so I would always put female. It's not like me dressing like a man makes me a man. I'm not unrealistic to certain things. So, but no, my only other preferred name would be Misha or Tammy. But over on my job, they use first name because I wanted my nickname on my name tag, but they don't do that. But other than that, female for me all the way.
So you be preferred, your pronoun would be she.
Yes.
Do you feel as though like social media has an influence on young people, like as it relates to like their sexuality and who they should be?
Yes, I definitely do because, like I said, I realize now that lifestyle is so much more receptive than when I was growing up. It's much easier now because they, like I said, they have rights. They're protected, so people feel more freely to be themselves.
And do you feel like parents should not limit their children to who they should be, like, as okay, say your child want to be a tomboy, would you limit her from being a tomboy because of your own personal experiences?
My thing, like I said, number one rule is always be your true self. If that is what she inspires to be, I am not going to change her mind from being that. But I will make her mindful that, it is wrong, biblically speaking, because I don't ever forget that, and there will be consequences.
So I know internationally there is an organization called LGBTQ, and it's where people are free to embrace themselves and show their true colors. They even have like Pride Month and stuff like that. Do you think that an organization like this should be welcome into St. Kitts? And would you ever take the initiative to introduce this organization?
That's a very good question. But for me, it is not a must, and I'm going to tell you why. If you look around, you see tomboys everywhere in St. Kitts. I don't think anyone is harassing them like what I went through back in my days. So to me, people, like I said, they're more receptive now, and people are comfortable, living their life without feeling like scared or whatever. So it's not a must, but if it should come here, of course, I'll take a part in it.
Okay, so in my personal experience and what I've heard, I thought tomboys were more accepted than any other different personalities and stuff like that. Opposed to being gay, for example, like a guy wanting to act more girly. We've seen a lot of, look downs and like even violence towards these kind of people. Why would you think tomboys would be more accepted than a guy wanting to be a girl?
That is the double standard right there. If you look at certain sexual videos, you would realize two women is actually a turn on to most men, if not all. Two women being intimate. A lot of guys would love to see that or even take part in that. But as a guy looking at two guys, that's a big no-no. Even to some women, that's a big no-no because, I mean, you're thinking, why would you want to be with a dude over a female who has everything? So, like I tell you, it's double standards. Both of them is the same thing in my eyes. But yet one is more condemned than the other, which shouldn't be, but that's just how it is in society.
So, is there any moment that you feel as though, like, you said that you have a girlfriend right now, right? Is there any moment, like, in the relationship where you be like, I could do it, I'm man right now?
Even if I felt that way, right, I wouldn't even tell her that. Even if that thought came to mind, I wouldn't never tell her that. Because then she would feel like intimidated and, you know.
So, do tomboys date tomboys or they date girly girls?
I could only answer for me, and I would never date a woman dressing like a man. That, I mean, there's no attraction there for me. I've seen that though, and I like, wow, this don't make no sense. But for me, I'm attracted to sexy, slim. It doesn't even matter if they're slim, but I like sexy girls. So like I tell you, a girl dressing like me, that wouldn't do anything for me.
How do you feel like the public view transgenders, whereas a guy is transformed into a female, where he has like, you can't tell that he is a guy unless he says, okay, I'm a guy, but I'm actually a woman. I was born a guy, but no, I'm a woman with the breasts and the butt and the shape and everything.
I think it's still looked down upon, to be quite honest, and I think it will be a while before they fully accept such. For me, I have no problem with it, but society and the whole, I think they're not ready for that.
So, you previously said, right, that you're attracted to both sexes. Would you date somebody who was a male but is now a female, a sexy female, as you just said?
I wouldn't say no. I can't say yes. Because for me, what I'm attracted to is personality. So somebody with the right personality could catch me. After finding out that the person is that, yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I'm open-minded, so who
We
knows?
could see that. We could see that for sure.
Yeah. So I wouldn't rule it out.
So, knowing that you feel like marriage is for a male and a female, but you are with a female right now, how do you plan to take your relationship on a long-term level?
Well, like I've discussed with my partner, for me, this lifestyle is not permanent. I'm like 11 years older than her, so for me, eventually would be to do the right thing. But I always encourage her, don't, if you see somebody out there and you want to go for it, I ain't holding you back because eventually I know where I am going to end up, or where my plan is. So I don't want to waste, nobody's time and feel like we got forever. When, like I said, and for me, I'm 43 now. I think my lifespan of being a tomboy is like fading out now. So I leave that for the younger ones.
Okay, that's great. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Jail, definitely.
Tell me why. Tell me
Because to me, I've lived a quite law-abiding life, and I want to try living on the edge. So. But I'm just kidding, man. For years, I've been working on a stand-up show, and to me, I just procrastinating a lot. I don't want to get serious and really do that. So I see myself in the next 5 years or less actually doing it.
Actually fulfilling your dreams.
Yes. Of doing my own stand up.
And I'm supporting you 100%. I'll
I
be
expect
there.
you to be there, yes. Thank you so much.
Was there a difference in like morals and values that were taught to you? Because you know the way you dress as a man and the way you carry yourself.
Well, like I said, while growing up, there was never any thoughts of being in a intimate relationship with a woman. And I grew up in a time where it was believed that once a woman gives her body to a guy, then he pretty much gives her whatever she wants. You know, it was only when I got older, the first person who really taught me about morals and value was a female. And that female I actually fell in love with. And that is where things kind of changed for me, because she was the first person who made me believe, like, you know, somebody could love me for me. I don't have to give my body or have sex with them. She taught me how to love myself and, you know, to have morals and so. That's where things changed. That was my life-changing moment right there.
So, as like in your youth, so you basically was taught how to do the, let's say the traditional women stuff, like cooking, cleaning. So, like growing up, that is what you were taught to do.
Yes. More like women do, you know, stay at home and do the work while the man go out there and work. As you can see, that is not happening today. Both are independent. So you learn to do things for yourself and you're independent individual. So no matter who I date, you know, it's like, as young people say, they can't style me.
Okay, so nowadays you are seeing more and more people coming out as being gay. Even males are saying they're bisexual. Well, not really coming out right saying they're bisexual, but more and more people are finding out that a number of men here are bisexual. Even for Carnival, we saw an influx of gay persons, you know, coming out to Carnival, even the ones that are overseas and they came here and they enjoy themselves and they were really showing out. How do you see this? And do you think that they are indeed coming out now than they were before?
Yes, I think more people are comfortable coming out now. As I tell you, the people them are more accepting of that lifestyle now. And so I think people use carnival time to really like free up themselves. As you know, some people they say carnival time, anything goes. So definitely.
So how do you feel like with a straight woman being with a guy that is supposed to be straight, but on the back skirts he's actually having affairs with guys?
That for me is like sickening, honestly, just the thought of that. Because for me, I would tell a guy like straight up I into girls as well. I'm open about that. But I find guys won't really be open about such, you know, sexualities. So and I find a lot of guys right now are doing that. So I don't know if it's a fear of coming out or why some of them choose to cover by sleeping with females when they're really going with guys. Like I said, maybe people don't know the scandal these things are cause, don't know the repercussions of such things coming out. So they try to hide it by dating females, which that is not really what they want to do, but just a means to cover up the sexuality.
So do you feel like if a guy is bisexual, he should be looked down on, or it should prevent him from getting certain opportunities or being a part of a high corporation or anything like that?
I don't think anyone should be looked down on because of their sexuality. Whenever we enter a workplace, we know there are rules and regulations. So if this is your lifestyle, fine, but policies would prevent you from like hitting on other staff or making them uncomfortable. Same way we shouldn't make you feel uncomfortable because of your sexuality. So you're saying that because I may be gay, I am qualified, I supposed to get some kind of treatment because of my lifestyle, even though I am capable of doing the same job that maybe a straight person can do. So that's why I'm saying I don't think you should ever look down on people's lifestyle. as long as they don't violate, you. So that's just how I feel about that.
So would you say that being bisexual and not openly being bisexual, but doing it, whether you're doing it undercover, known to people or whatever, both people who you are being intimate with should know. Like, you shouldn't just be with the woman and okay, everybody know you're with the woman, but you're being with a man secretly.
Well, a lot of times that is the case because you don't want to lose the person you're with or cause any conflicts. Because I know a lot of people who are undercover doing other things. So, but to me, the best way is to be honest about it. Like, me and my girlfriend, we discuss everything, and if I am attracted to a guy, I tell her. I don't believe in hiding things from your partner because I don't want to pretend like, oh, I'm just into whatever, and then I know that's the furthest thing from the truth. Because like I tell you, I always believe in being your true self, and she knows that I do have attraction to guys. I never ever hide that from anyone, so, but I think the best way is being honest. It strengthens the relationship, believe it or not. It may cause a little problem, but at the end of the day, you could I could respect my partner because I know they're honest with me, and you could face these things together, these challenges.
On behalf of Toolkit, we would like to say thank you very much for coming here and having a very open-minded discussion with us on the topic tomboy. It's not really known. Most people don't have experience information on it. So thank you very much for coming here and sharing your own experience, your own growth. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I would like to big up Toolkit. I love what you guys are doing here, and I appreciate the fact that you invited me. It was my pleasure to be here, and I'm glad I was able to, give feedback on a topic that maybe some wouldn't want to touch on. So thank you guys very much for inviting me here. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for episode 8 next week, Carnival Style.
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, SWMC, is working hard each and every day to keep St. Kitts clean. Our primary mandate is to collect household waste while maintaining the engineer's sanitary landfill in Connery. While it is the responsibility of businesses to see to it that their garbage is properly collected and disposed of at the landfill, the SWMC offers a commercial waste disposal service with our Nosy program. We also offer a bin rental service where persons can rent large bins to do community cleanups or other waste disposal activities. Additionally, our headquarters in Taylor's Range include state-of-the-art conference rooms for rental. So when you're hosting another event, consider using the SWMC conference facilities. We want to continue serving you by keeping our environment clean. Because at the SWMC, waste matters. For more information, call our office at 465-9507.